Walking away can be one of the most difficult decisions you'll ever have to make in life. It's not about giving up, running away from your problems, or choosing the easy way out. It's an act of self-love. It's an act of courage, a decision that, when made consciously, can transform your life at its very core. The renowned psychologist Carl Jung, a visionary in the exploration of the human psyche, taught that true spiritual growth arises when we're brave enough to look at ourselves honestly. We must be willing to recognize what holds us back and what propels us forward toward our deepest purpose. And often that recognition involves the painful but necessary process of letting go of people, environments, ideas, or identities that no longer resonate with who we truly are inside. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you found yourself staying in a relationship, a job, a place, or even a mindset that deep down you knew wasn't right for you? That feeling of emptiness and inner conflict aren't coincidences. They are messages from your unconscious mind, like whispers trying to steer you gently in a different direction. Jung believed that our unconscious is not something to be feared or ignored. It's constantly working, guiding us toward wholeness and integration. But to move in that direction, we must first have the courage to face the parts of ourselves we've hidden in the shadows. The shadow, a central concept in Jungian psychology, represents all the aspects of ourselves we've repressed, denied, or rejected. Our fears, our insecurities, our past wounds, they're the parts of ourselves we've buried because they felt too painful or simply didn't fit with the image we wanted to present to the world. But these hidden parts don't just disappear. They show up in our lives, often mirrored in the people we choose to surround ourselves with. When you feel trapped, drained, or disconnected, it's not a coincidence. It's a projection of something within you that desperately needs to be seen, acknowledged, and healed. But healing doesn't always mean staying. Sometimes the most healing thing you can do for yourself is to walk away, to step back from whatever is consuming your energy, clouding your clarity, and pulling you away from what truly matters. Let's be honest, this isn't easy. We're taught that strength means holding on, even when it hurts. But Jung invites us to challenge those beliefs. He reminds us that clinging to what no longer serves us is not a virtue. It's a form of self-abandonment. True strength lies in knowing when to release and when to honor your truth, even if it means disappointing others or walking away from what's familiar. Letting go is not weakness. It's the ultimate act of bravery. It sends a clear message to your unconscious. I am ready for something better. And when you choose to walk away with clarity and intention, something extraordinary begins to happen. You start to come back to yourself, and you begin to hear your intuition more clearly. That quiet voice within that has always been there, waiting patiently for you to listen. Jung taught that the relationships we form and the environments we immerse ourselves in don't just influence us, they mirror us. The people closest to us act as mirrors, reflecting not only our strengths but also our unresolved wounds and inner conflicts. When you stay in dynamics that make you feel small, you're not just experiencing discomfort. You're ignoring a deeper message from within. Something inside you is calling for transformation, and stepping away is not selfish. It's a journey into self-awareness. It's the moment you look at yourself with radical honesty and ask, is this helping me grow or is this keeping me stuck? The answer might hurt, but in that truth lies the key to your evolution. Jung called this journey individuation, the process of becoming your most authentic self. Individuation requires that we stop betraying ourselves for the sake of comfort or acceptance. It asks us to be brave enough to walk away from what's familiar, when it no longer reflects our truth. But how do you know when it's time to walk away? The signs are usually there, persistent and clear, but we ignore them because the fear of the unknown often feels stronger than the desire for change. It might start as a quiet discomfort, a subtle restlessness, or an emotional exhaustion that no amount of rest can fix. These aren't just emotional states. They are inner guides. They are your soul's way of telling you you're out of alignment. We often wait until the pain becomes unbearable before we act. But what if the discomfort you feel today is already enough of a reason to make a change? Choosing to walk away isn't about abandoning others. It's about returning to yourself. Jung emphasized that true spiritual growth demands courage. It's tested in those moments when you're asked to let go of something you once believed to be essential, whether it's a long-term relationship, a job that drains your spirit, or even a belief that has shaped your identity for years. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means honoring the role it played in your life and making the conscious choice to release it so that something new can enter. When you choose to walk away, you're not just freeing yourself, you're also allowing the other person or situation to find its own path. Jung believed that everything in the universe is interconnected, and when you release what no longer fits your journey, you make space for what does. This process is far from linear. There will be moments filled with uncertainty, nostalgia, and fear. This is where Jung's teachings become a lifeline. He spoke of the power hidden within chaos and the sacred opportunity that lies in emptiness. In the vacuum left behind by what we release, there exists the raw potential for transformation. It's in confronting this emptiness rather than running from it that your authentic self begins to rise. Jung's concept of individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming who you really are, requires you to face your shadows. These shadows aren't something to fear. They're the rejected, repressed, and forgotten parts of your psyche. By integrating them, you step into a deeper sense of wholeness. One of the greatest challenges is dealing with external judgment. We live in a world that constantly evaluates our choices, especially when they go against the grain. Jung referred to this as the conflict between the authentic self and the adapted self. When you choose to walk away, you're essentially peeling off the mask of the adapted self and honoring what your soul deeply needs. That is a revolutionary act, because in doing so, you not only transform your own life, but you also silently give others permission to reflect on their own choices. This is where Jung's work becomes a compass. It teaches you to trust your intuition and to stay rooted in your connection to the unconscious, even when the outside world pushes back. It reminds you that walking away is not an act of cowardice. It's an act of profound responsibility. Jung reminds us that true growth only begins when we step beyond the edges of our comfort zone. It's in those uncertain, chaotic moments that we uncover our real strength. The fear of change is a reflection of our inner shadows. Jung taught that these voices aren't enemies. They are parts of ourselves that long to be seen, heard, and understood. The key lies not in silencing these voices, but in listening to them with empathy. Walking away from something that no longer serves us is not just a decision. We are breaking deep-rooted patterns, often invisible, operating silently in the background. This journey demands patience, time, and above all, self-compassion. As these inner shifts begin to take place, you'll notice subtle but powerful changes in your perception. Situations that once overwhelmed you lose their grip. People who used to drain your energy no longer affect you the same way because you've learned how to set boundaries and protect your peace. This transformation doesn't remain confined to your internal landscape. It radiates outward. Opportunities that once seemed impossible begin to emerge. Relationships that nourish your spirit start to appear and take root in your life. One of the most powerful ideas Jung introduced is the concept of shadow integration. When you walk away from a toxic situation, you're not doing it out of hatred. You're doing it from a place of clarity and love. You understand that even the most painful situations had something to teach you, and with that understanding comes the ability to let go not with bitterness, but with peace. Jung also emphasized the extraordinary role of intuition in the spiritual path. That gut feeling, that subtle voice inside, is your unconscious speaking to you. When you choose to listen and act upon it, you begin to strengthen your connection to your inner self. The true power of walking away is that it allows you to reclaim your energy and refocus it. Jung believed that our psychic energy is finite, and when we spend it on relationships that do not support our growth, we rob ourselves of the energy we need to create and live fully. Walking away is a declaration, a reclaiming of your right to choose where your energy goes and who has access to it. In this process, you will inevitably encounter one of Jung's most profound concepts: the polarity between the ego and the self. The ego, our conscious identity, craves control and validation, but the self is much larger. It is the totality of who we are, both our light and our shadow, and it seeks wholeness, not just comfort. When you walk away from things that no longer align with your truth, you are allowing the self to lead. This act requires immense courage. Walking away can feel like losing your foundation, but it's in that uncertainty where your transformation takes root. You are choosing growth over comfort, truth over illusion, and purpose over fear. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you make space for what truly matters. And in that space, you might just uncover your purpose. Walking away also means facing grief, not just the grief of what you're leaving behind, but also the grief of who you were in that environment. Letting go of a relationship often means letting go of a version of yourself that was shaped by pain and limitation. This can be deeply painful, but it's an essential step in your transformation. Jung once said that sadness is the cradle of wisdom. As you walk this path, resistance will likely show up from within you, too. Your mind might try to convince you that you're making a mistake, but growth never happens in comfort. This transformation isn't magic. It's the direct result of aligning your life with your inner truth. This act of letting go doesn't just benefit you. It ripples outward. When a person becomes authentic, they elevate everyone around them. Your decision to live from your truth may inspire others to do the same. This is the domino effect of spiritual growth. Walking away is a process of reconnection, a homecoming to your true self. It's like returning from a long journey and realizing that everything you've ever needed was always inside of you. Jung spoke of the unconscious as a vast ocean filled with insights that we often search for outside ourselves, but can only truly access by turning inward. Walking away from what no longer resonates with your spirit is a vital step toward accessing that inner ocean. And when you make that brave decision to release, something powerful begins to happen. You begin to feel a clarity that once seemed impossible. That inner voice begins to grow louder and more trustworthy. From this sacred place, you gain the ability to make choices with confidence, knowing they align with who you really are. It's important to understand that this journey is not about perfection. Jung taught that the goal of life is not to be flawless, but to be whole. You come to understand that your worth is not defined by external validation, but by the unshakable strength that resides in the deepest parts of your being. When you shift your perspective and transform rejection into an opportunity for growth, you not only reconnect with yourself, but you also open the door to more authentic and fulfilling relationships. What once seemed like a painful situation reveals itself as a powerful lesson in self-acceptance and resilience. The journey toward integrating your shadow is not a lonely one. It is an invitation to explore, to learn, and to share. Each time you choose to act from a place of inner peace, you send a powerful message to the universe and to those around you. It is through this genuine exchange of energy and truth that true transformation takes root. When you become a beacon of light for yourself, you inspire others to do the same. I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments, to join this community of growth, and to spread this message to those who need to hear it. Remember, real transformation begins within. It is not about searching outside for something you have always carried inside. It is about uncovering that latent force within you, the one that allows you to live fully, authentically, and with purpose. Share this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can continue receiving content that inspires you to look within and transform your life. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for being part of this journey. Your story matters, and the world is waiting for it.